Welcome to another ranking. This is my second ranking now. I previously ranked the Transformers movies, the live action ones. And now, because I have reviewed every Phase 1 movie, I'm going to rank them. This is going to be fun, so without wasting time, let's get to it. Number 6. Kicking off at the bottom of the list is Iron Man 2. Yes, you probably figured out that Iron Man 2 is the worst film in Phase 1. Well, just think about it. It does not have good pacing. It's filled to the brim with filler. And the villains were a huge wasted opportunity. You got Whiplash, who could have been a cool villain, but is just dumbed down to just fucking a couple of very, very short fights, and mostly just being in the background. Well, the main villain, a guy in the suit, is the one who is doing all the villain shit. Now, I will say this movie did have some good action, and Robert Downey Jr. still to this he still gives a one hell of a performance. He really does act his ass off here. And there's some very interesting stuff with his character. But there's also some dumb shit, like including Iron Man peeing his pants. And yeah, it's just this movie could have had more. This movie could have used some more action to make things more interesting, and a lot less filler. This movie had way too much of it. Yeah, Iron Man 2 is just it is the worst film in MCU Phase 1. Number 5. Next on this ranking is The Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk is a very fun movie. It has some really fucking good action sequences, and Edward Norton is great as Bruce Banner. My main problem with The Incredible Hulk, though, were the side characters, excluding Tim Roth. Most of the side characters are just really bland, or they're just stock military characters. This movie does not offer much in terms of like characterization. It's just I don't know. It's just that if Bruce Banner was not interesting, this movie wouldn't have been nearly as enjoyable. Because yeah, the action scenes are a fucking blast to watch, and the effects for the most part still hold up really well, minus the final act where it does kind of look like a video game. But other than that, it is a fun movie. It's just not a great one. It's a perfectly good popcorn movie. Number 4. And coming in at number 4 is Thor. This movie I thought was a really fun time. It, just like most of these movies, I really enjoyed the fish out of water aspect of it. There are some really cool ideas, and Chris Hemsworth gives a really fucking magnificent performance as Thor. This movie has some really cool action. One of my favorite action sequence by far was the first one between the Thor and his friends and the Frost Giants. That shit was epic and surprisingly violent too. I really you're seeing people get impaled. You're seeing the Frost Giants just get their heads just smashed right open with Thor's hammer. That shit was awesome. And then of course there was the fight. There was the action sequence where Thor is just fighting all those SHIELD agents just so he can get to his hammer. That shit was great too. But yeah, the reason why it's not higher is because the final act was very underwhelming. It's just Thor's gonna fight this big ass robot thing, whatever the fuck it is, and which just wreaks havoc all across town, and then all of a sudden after that shit, it's just so much destruction and explosions and shit like that going down. All of a sudden, there's just a really underwhelming and short fight between Thor and Loki. I don't know, it's just the final act was so underwhelming that it made me appreciate the first two acts. Overall, Thor is just a really fun, good movie. I do recommend Thor. It's really good. Check it out. Number 3. And taking up the bronze medal in MCU Phase 1 is Captain America the First Avenger. This movie is amazing, in my opinion. I think all three Captain America movies are great. And I think that The First Avenger is one of the most underrated films in the MCU. This movie has an amazing old-fashioned feel to it. I loved the 1940s setting. I thought it was used beautifully. And this movie just has this movie has an amazing sense of fun to it. The action scenes are great, like really good. Yeah, I think Chris Evans gives a great performance as Captain America here. I don't know why people think he's so lame in this movie. I thought he was great. He's a fun character. And of course, this movie has some really fun side characters too. And the visuals still really look really good to this day. I think Captain America the First Avenger is a really fucking good movie. Like great even. I love it. I think it's definitely one of the best of Phase 1. Definitely. Number 2. Here we are, the second best film in the MCU. Phase 1, Iron Man. Hell yeah, this movie is fantastic. It is one of the best comic book movies out there. Story-wise, it is the best film in the MCU Phase 1. Robert Downey Jr., amazing. He really showed up to act his ass off here. He gives one hell of a performance like he always does. I love the story, and while there isn't as much action as you would expect in this, what action there is fucking amazing. And even though the villain isn't quite up to par with the rest of the movie, because, it does that final act thing where he just copies the powers of the hero, it did not ruin my enjoyment of the film because the rest of the movie is just so high quality. It was just one flaw in a movie that's damn near perfect. I love Iron Man. Definitely check it out. It is one hell of a movie. Number 1. Number 1 is The Avengers, baby. Hell yeah. What else can I say about The Avengers is that it is a very tightly written, action-packed movie. If you want just 2.5 hours of epic action and awesome one-liners and spending time with these awesome characters, The Avengers is for you, and it does not disappoint. It gives you exactly what you want out of an Avengers movie. The Avengers is just one big crowd pleaser, and it is a crowd pleaser done right. Just sit back, relax, and just watch The Avengers because it is fucking awesome. If you haven't seen it yet, what the fuck? Do yourself a favor. It is a really, 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 really fun movie. And it's great. So I hope you like this ranking. If you comment your ranking of Phase 1 down below. So yeah, if you like my stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.